Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with a special project. It's part of the 12 box project where I'm going through 12 boxes of, in this year, I'm going through 12 boxes of old photos like these. And this batch is a batch associated with a trip. I had a business trip to San Francisco. I had the the awful job, whether I wanted to or not. I had meetings to chair every quarter in San Francisco. So John came with me this one time. It was in November of 2011. Listen to me. November of 1981, which was just 5 months after, a few months. Well, 3 months after we were married. And we, after the meetings were finished in San Francisco, we rented a car and we drove down Highway 101 all the way down to San Diego. And we stopped one night in Carmel, and I'm sure we stopped someplace near, well, maybe from Carmel we went on down to San Diego, and then we stayed in San Diego for a while. And I remember the things that we did and the places that we went, and they're not all represented in these photos. So I'm thinking there are some other photos that I'm going to find in another box. So I think this is going to be a longer kind of project. So what I did was I had not finished last year's Fernwood layouts from the Vicki Boutin Fernwood class. And so I finished those. Some of them were just the papers cut out, and others were a little bit further along. But I did those off camera because the product came out of the class, and it's kind of, I look at that as a sort of a proprietary thing. What I'm going to show you is how I'm using those pages now that I've made them. And so I've got some photos. I'm just gonna, I've got right here what the originals, what Vicki's version was. And I'm not too far away from that, actually. At, you know, I've got a little different embellishment up there, and I don't know, might have a different butterfly, or the butterfly in a different place. Let's see. I'm gonna put the butterfly where she put it, right here. And I've got a little tray here of all kinds of embellishments from that collection that I can use after I put the photos on, if I feel like I need to. So I'm going to take these originals. I'll just let you deal with what I've done. So this is a 2-pager that is going to be about a place we stayed in Carmel called the Highlands Inn. And in 1980, when John came down to Houston to interview for a job, he had to wait because I had a business trip in Carmel, actually, and my mother came with me. My dad had just died, and so she came with me on that business trip. And John came down from Michigan, where he was living. He was working for GM in Detroit, and he was waiting for me to get back from that trip with my mom. So I'm glad the company didn't let anybody else interview him. Anyway, let me just kind of tell you what I'm planning to do here. I've got a couple photos here of the grounds around the Highland Inn. And this one, I was gonna kind of overlap them this way and kind of hide those cars, But then my grandson Barrett came down and said, oh, wow, look at those cars. So I thought that might be as interesting as anything else on the page. So I'm going to go ahead and do these parallel with this piece of paper right here and not with that one. And I'm going to put this here. Maybe I will do it like that because I have this that says view from our room. So I'm gonna, and the, is that right? Is that what I'm doing? Yeah. Yes. Yes, it is. I have another, there's a reference to a view on the next page, but I have, that's not the view from our room. This is the label that goes there, and that just says Highlands Inn, Carmel by the Sea, November 1981. And I'm just going to put that on there. So that page is done. I may come back and embellish, but
so we're going to keep it a little simpler.
Excuse me for a minute.
Getting the top built.
Something I need to mute. I had the television on and James came down and talked to me about something and I put it on pause, but that only lasts for a little while. This, I debated which one of these pictures of the view I wanted to use. And I decided on this one because the colors are a little clearer. I was able to kind of clean it up a little bit better. You can kind of see a reflection from the window. This was from our window. So what I thought I'd do is create like a little pocket to slide this other one up under it. And so I'm gonna put this as close to the edge as possible so that the photo will fit. These are those little strips. These are the cheaper ones that I bought from someplace else. The good ones are from Tailored Expressions. Let's see, I want the photo to be able to slide in this way. So I'm going to put a barrier down at this end. And I noticed that there's I cut, I don't know if it was the trimmer or if it was user error, but I cut the mat poorly and I'm going to embellish maybe to well, is that, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to glue it down like that to, I'm having trouble getting this lifted. Let me, I want it to go a little bit under this. And because that's extremely sticky, those little things are really sticky. I'm just not having much luck. So let me put it the way I want it. And then I'll worry about sticking it down at the bottom. So kind of like that. And then this and this can lift up over and go like that. Okay, see, this bothers me right here. It's lined up. I've got a nice kind of matte margin there, but I'm not happy with it. Here. So I'm going to look for something that will look nice and hide that. It has to look nice and it has to hide that. Okay, view from our room goes right there. Our story needs a little strip behind it. There. And now this can slide in there, and I need to put something on it that that gives you a tab to pull. So I've got these little guys, and I need to get one for the front and one for the back. So I'm going to pull these two plain ones, and I'm going to put that one right there. And I'll come back here and match it up. Get it where you can see it. I'm going to match up the little tabs there. So this now can be used to pull it in and out. So that with that there, then I can have something under and over. And I kind of like, there are some yellow trees. Well, actually, how about this? Maybe right there. I'll anchor it down here, and you can still pull out the photo from underneath it. I can actually glue it onto there. Okay, and then I might put something else out here. Maybe this flower. I like that. I don't need that tab, but there's no point taking it off if I can hide it. Let me go right there. I'm gonna get this glued on. Right there. I'm gonna wipe that glue off. I put it too far down. I have so many of these things to do that I really am trying to hurry. So this isn't a huge long video that, okay, and I have these photos, one of me and one of John. I was very, very, very sick that day when this was taken. I got a little bit better. I had a sinus infection, which is kind of up until I had my deviated septum repaired. about a year ago, I got 7 or 8 major sinus infections a year, and this was one of them. And so it was just cool and damp enough in the San Francisco Bay Area and along the coast that I really kind of suffered from it. Okay, so if I put that there, I can pull that out. It makes it interactive, and this hides the fact that I cut that mat badly. Okay, so this, I think, is done. I thought about maybe putting some embellishments here. Well, that glue didn't stick, I guess. Let me press that down. Okay. I think I like it is. I may handwrite something here. But I have some more detailed journaling on another page. There are several pages that kind of go together that'll document this trip. And I will probably put a divider or something in the album so that it's identified as that. So this double pager is done, and I love it. I love this collection. Probably I know that I thought Color Kaleidoscope was my favorite collection ever in the history of collections. And then I thought it was Color Study. Well, actually, I kind of liked Let's Wander. And then this one came along, Fernwood came along, and I just absolutely love it. I love Print Shop too, but I think I like Fernwood. Oh, who knows? Okay, this is another one that's gonna have multiple photos. This is the journaling, and it's gonna go in a pocket of some sort, I guess. And, yes, I'm gonna create a pocket by another pocket. And I don't know where this goes. This is gonna go, let's see. I should have this straight by now. Maybe here, and it'll slide in the side again. So this has journaling about the trip. It has some photos that are not gonna make it onto the page. This is, in fact, when Vicki did this layout, and to prove it, this was from the class, she had life is, and then she used alphas to say life is good. Well, as soon as I saw the life is, I started singing the song, Life is a Highway, and I had gone through and I had found some photos that we took on Highway 101 as we were driving down. And let me see why can't I do it like this? I put this thing under there so that the sticker wouldn't stick to the mat there. Let me do this again, and I'm going to do it directly onto there. I had cut this extra piece of white cardstock to make it a totally integrated package, and I don't need that because it can stick to the yellow. And I'm just going to put a small stopper right there. These photos are quite a bit smaller than than the top one. And I've left a little bit of a like a Polaroid frame kind of thing down there so that it allows me to maybe handwrite some journaling. I'm not going to do that on camera, and it may be a spot, a good resting place for some embellishments. Okay, so let me pull this out. That is sitting on, that sticker is sitting on some foam. So it's raised up. I guess that would be nice if I didn't put this upside down. Let me get it spaced properly on here. There we go. And now I think those are going to be there. These will slide in here. And I should have something that they all need tabs too, or at least, I wonder if I could use, I may use washi tape to hook all these together, and then I'll put one tab on there. I will not do that on camera. I'm just going to kind of leave them sticking out a little bit so that I can pull them out if I need to. This is, in that journaling, it talks about the ride and that we saw. This was, I think, my first glimpse at a vineyard. Now, we visited vineyards in California and elsewhere later in our years, but you have to remember this was the first, this was our first year of traveling the world, and so there were some firsts. This was certainly the first time I'd ever seen artichokes growing in a field, and there were stands along the road that had artichokes cooked in a million different ways, just really delicious. Who knew a roadside stand with artichokes? And then this is just a little photo of me. I'm not going to put any foam on the back, but I am going to trim off this mat. Was actually cut from the photo paper. There was a white surrounding the photo. Okay, and I'm gonna hope it doesn't show when I stick it under here. Okay, then this is meant for, and so I put life is, and then I used some, the only thing that's not Vicki Boutin here is this Obed Marshall Fantastico Alpha, these little puffy circles. And so I put life is a highway. And here are some highway photos. And again, I've left a some extra border down at the bottom for embellishing or journaling. And we'll see what we end up doing. Okay. This is a field of pumpkins and rolling, hills. So that was a view in, like, when we were inland. And this is along the coast, the beautiful, gorgeous, amazing coast on the 12-mile drive into Carmel. Let's see what we have that might want to go down here. I like this Stay Curious, and I feel like I can probably embellish that with something more colorful. You can see that I took that photo across John. You know, his hands are on the steering wheel and he's right here, and I had to get a shot of those pumpkins, and they were on his side of the car. So that says Stay Curious. Let's see what we want to put there. There are some butterflies here. So what if I had a fussy cut? I like that one, but I want to use this smaller one. Fussy cut moth. That covers up, you know, that little bit of trees there. So I'm gonna do that so that I don't cover up any words. And then usually in these things there are, yeah, this one says this here. There's some things that kind of point down. And so I'm going to put this on a thinner foam than this is on, so it'll tuck under. Okay, so that works there. And here, this says, take the unexpected path. Don't forget to enjoy the view was on the other page. That's the right size and the right color. So I'm going to use it. And I'm going to add some small embellishment. Let's look and see what's in the here. I'm going to use a toadstool, maybe. Why not a toadstool? Because I don't have a lot of red in there, I guess is the reason I'm thinking. I've got lots of duplicates, and this isn't Fernwood, this is Color Study, and so is that. But I've got this. I'm going to use that. And that doesn't cover up enough of the pumpkins to worry about. So that one's done. And let's see what we can do to this one. This has the Stay Curious. I thought I might actually write something or type something and put that on there. And I'll reference the fact that there's this underneath. So I'm going to call that one finished, except it seems like I might want something right there. So let's see. what we can find. Maybe these are not grapes, they're blueberries, and those are grapevines. I don't know, that doesn't do anything for me at the moment. Let's see. Is there a spot for another butterfly? Butterfly, when in doubt, use a butterfly is my saying. I'm not finding anything in here. It would have been good if I had done a little bit of planning, but I didn't. Here is something that's a little bit neutral, but kind of works for me. There's enough color on the page that I don't mind going over on to the neutral side. Stop it. Of course, I had to stop and look at the flowers. When I saw flowers on the road, it's kind of like the road to Hana in Hawaii. I was stopping never mind that it was already going to take us, I don't know, 20 hours or something to go down it. I had to stop and look at all the ginger growing along that road, and it was all in bloom. It was absolutely amazing. So, okay, I'm done with this. I kind of like that there's a lot of that yellow frame there, but I pasted the picture on so that it's wider on this side. So I'm going to do one of these guys, and I'm going to kind of tuck it under there. Can I tuck anything? It seems to be glued in there. Oh, come now. That's almost exactly the same length as the photo. So I've got that, and then I can do a small embellishment, something that comes from the book. The moment isn't quite what I was looking for. These beautiful moments. What else do I have? A moment captured. Today I'm looking for a small icon, not a saying necessarily. Okay, how about that says fill your life with joy? And it's pointing down because right there was the joy that I filled my life with. It was that guy. And it's so funny looking at these pictures and seeing him with his wonderful flyaway, soft, fine hair that he, of course, lost. And I, kind of got used to, where's the other page? Where did my other, oh, there it is. I covered it up with my little box of goodies. Okay, so there's the 2-pager there. And it's got, I love that there's this line of the paper that came from here. So it echoes that sort of rainbow spray there. I'm happy with that. So another 2-pager done. Done and dusted. And that's still the Carmel trip. And here we are down in San Diego. We've made it to San Diego, and I somehow didn't document much between Carmel and San Diego. This is the original. It says Our Stories, and I kept with that title because all of this, everything that's in that box is definitely part of our story. I love this 2-page spread. We took the ledger paper and put it with this paper, and I love and then we cut the hexagon paper so that it was in there, and then we cut out those circles. I had not done much of the work on this one until yesterday, I guess, day before yesterday. And when I put it together, I was just thrilled. I love it. Okay, so I have made I couldn't decide which one. Right here is going to be this picture of this Clivia, and here's some journaling. I couldn't decide which one of these pictures I wanted to use. This one had some green in it, and I thought it would go nicely with the green there. So I thought maybe I could do that, and then you can kind of lift it out from under there. So that makes this a little bit interactive, and it's not a slidey feature, it's a book opening. It's kind of similar, though not nearly as creative as the interactive elements that Vicki includes in her. I guess I could just leave it like that. And, you know, this says, we visited lots of places in San Diego, including the zoo and some of my mom's old haunts. My mom lived there and went to school there in La Jolla and Del Mar. And so, but we loved the Konakai Club on Shelter Island. I couldn't believe how beautiful this Clivia plant was. I grew some in our poolside garden in the Woodlands years later, but I haven't ever tried it in Georgia. Actually, it says here, I'm inspired to go out and see if I can find one and grow it. I know it'll have to be brought inside in the winter, and John's not here to help me do all that. So I'll just have to keep it small and not put it in a heavy pot. Okay, so I have this picture of me that goes here on the page that says happiness is, and I'm hugging a totem pole at the Konakai Club. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that on and slide it in there. And then here I've got, this is the John side of the 2-pager. I've got that he's pointing to the sign, and then I just love this kind of close-up. He's wearing a little sticker that says I heart SD. I love San Diego, and we did love San Diego. We loved it a lot, and I had a connection to it because my mother had lived there, and her parents lived in Del Mar. My mother was born in China, and when they moved back from Shanghai, they lived in La Jolla, but her parents had a place in Del Mar, and when my grandfather was sick, we that's not the way that goes together. It goes together like this. Okay. And the little strip goes across. I think I'm going to leave this one alone. I think I don't want to take away from the hexagons on the side. And I love all of this. There's a little bit of journaling there, and you can open it up to see the full little magnifying glass there. And it says, Our Stories. I'm happy with it. So that one is done. Now this one we switch away from the California trip. And this one has photos from our garden, a couple gardens actually. This garden was in a different place from the rest of these. This was the next house we lived in after we moved from that one when the foundation went bad. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these on, and there may be some embellishing, but we did in the class, we stenciled using several different colors of green using the fern stencil from the Fernwood collection. So I thought that was kind of cool. I think that goes, it's meant to go like that. Let me pull that original back up and take a look. Let's see. Yep, that's the other one we just did. That's that one that we just did. Okay, so it goes the other way. It goes like this. Okay, and I have, this photo is, we lived in a patio home in Pecan Grove Plantation, and it was very close. Right here, literally where that mat is, was our side wall, and right there was our neighbor's. But I went through, well, a little bit further over because this had to have room to grow. I dug out a path and then lined it with bricks and planted it with really lush tropical plants because it was kind of a protected environment. I used plants that could take a little bit of shade, and I absolutely loved that garden. And I walked through it and deadheaded flowers and did something in there every single day. I loved this house. The house's main feature was that it was on the golf course, and we certainly loved that aspect of it for sure. But I loved landscaping the place. And it's the house where the landscaping company was born. Let's see, I have a couple hibiscus. This is John's absolute favorite hibiscus, and we grew this. He used this as a screensaver on his phone, and I still have his phone, and I still have that screensaver, and I have it saved in my photo library as a favorite. It was a close-up of one of those. And I love caladiums, so in our gardens there, I had caladiums everywhere, and this kind of shows how I had them mixed in with hibiscus and some little smaller flowers. I'm forgetting what they are. But this is a very delicate, hard to grow hibiscus. It's not hard to grow, but it's hard to get it to bloom. And then it's hard to get the blooms. The blooms take forever to open up. And it's hard to get them all the way open without falling off. So they're highly hybridized, and so not very hardy or sturdy or any of those things. Okay, so this is going to have to be lifted a little bit, I think. This is, when we moved to the house, I had, some tulip bulbs and anemones and lots of other spring bulbs, and no place to plant them because I had a perfect place at the other house. And so there was an empty lot between our house and the next door neighbors. And this was a house that we leased. The owners were from the UK, and they were expats living in Texas. And his company assigned him so instead of using one small picture here and one larger picture next to it, I just used a large landscape photo here. I didn't want to cut that down. I absolutely love that photo. And I just, like, one afternoon, I went out and dug it, lined it with bricks, put some really good soil in there, and planted the bulbs early enough that they'd have a chance to, well, they had actually been in the refrigerator, but I got them out there where they'd get some nice cool weather and bloom. Tulips are very hard to keep in Texas. I got some heat-resistant varieties, and they seem to work okay. Okay, does that go like that, or does it? Yeah, I think it does. It does go like that. So what else do I need here? I've got a little dragonfly there. I could maybe work one in here. I kind of like when there are long strings like that. I like to kind of break it up with an embellishment. And his tail doesn't cover up too much of the garden, the photo next door. I think I could use something right here. I wonder, something like that. Let's see what else I have. I may have a piece of ephemera that is the right size to go there. Ideally, I would not want, I could do that blue flower cluster. I don't want to necessarily compete with the flowers in the photo. Let's see, could I do something tucked under there with that coming up? Don't really like that a whole lot. This is hard because I'm very, I could do another one of these guys. Ooh, a bird. A bird. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I didn't want flowers that would be visibly different from those. Okay, and the color of the bird picks up that teal there, and his breast picks up the orange there. That's awesome. And I think that's gonna be it. That's cute, but it's not for that page. How about Well, it says beautiful day, such wonderful things surround you. That's enough for it to say. I don't need it to say anything else. Does that need to go anywhere? That's kind of cute. It looks like he's laying a striped egg. Let me stop while I'm ahead. And that finishes it. There's this double pager. I guess that's 8 pages. And then there's this one. I'm hoping you can see that. And then this one. And I'll try to photograph these separately and smoosh them together. And this one. So 8 pages worth of photos, telling stories I haven't told before, and finishing the layouts from a class I took over a year ago, or right about at a year ago. So I'm happy to have all of those things done. I have lost my little pin that goes in the top of this. I'm sure it's on the floor, and I'm sure I'll find it soon enough. What on earth is going on here? Okay, there we go. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. I will admit that the 12 box project. Now, all of these photos, went through these photos. I scanned and printed some of them, but not all of them. I included some extras, you know, tucked in, like this one, and a couple on the other page. But in general, I am going to put these back in the box, and they will never see the light of day in terms of scrapping, I don't think. There's some pictures here of the San Diego Zoo, but it's animals at the zoo. It's not me and John at the zoo. And these photos aren't particularly good. Well, I guess there's one of John. No, that's at Carmel at the Highlands Inn. And there's some photos. I like this one that has the near landscape and then the city behind it, but there's not much of a story there. And there's a, you know, coastline. This is around the pool at the Highlands Inn. These were ones I felt didn't tell the story as well as the ones that I picked out here. And you might pick out totally different ones, but I'm okay putting these back in the box with a card in front that explains what the events are, what the trip was. And then when I find some others that go with it, I may make some more pages. So I took a peek at box 2 for February, and it's got far fewer photos in it. I forget what, and it's not chronological. Like these were the 80s. I think it went from like 79 through 87 was the latest date in this box, I think. And that one would logically be the late 80s and the early 90s, but it's not. And I don't, I'm just going to take them as they come. The next box I get to in the stack is box 2. And that's what I'll work on in February. It's going to take some time. I'd say at least 4 or 5 hours to go through and do the process as I had described it before, doing it group by group and then documenting and overturning, you know, turning the ones, you know, upending the ones that I might want to scan. And it's overwhelming because I can't get past finding things that are out of order. This drives me nuts. And I can remember when I did the exercise and thought, you know, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, at least 5, maybe probably closer to 10, where I organized them and put the labels that are in there now. I remember being overwhelmed by the fact that no sooner had I gotten one box in order and I, looking somewhere else, I found some that needed to go there, which is why that box is packed so full. So I'm just going to kind of take it. I'm going to have to let go of some of my pickiness about this kind of stuff. I see a little heart that didn't stick on here. It came off. And so this one probably won't stick either. That was not a major issue, but I hate losing little embellishments because they end up like on the bottom of my feet, and then they get in the shower, stuff like that. So thank you for watching. I'll keep you posted on where the 12 box project is, and I'm guessing that I may be confessing to you at the end of January that I haven't done what I set out to do in the month of January. So wish me luck. I don't want to report that to you. So thanks for watching. Bye.